Alright folks, we are back on our Oldsmobile 400. This is from my good friend in Texas, Kevin Ruby, and great friend and Oldsmobile connoisseur. But I stopped where we're at. We got all our bearing clearances verified. We're looking really good on everything. I had, I think, between 28 and 3 thou bearing clearance on this. Exactly where I want to be. So, the gasket set comes with a rope seal. You know, rope seals are okay, and a lot of people use them, and they worked. But I'm not a fan of rope seals. So, how do you find a neoprene two-piece rear main seal for an Oldsmobile? Well, this company right here, BOP Engineering. I've been using these guys, and nope, I'm not getting paid for this, okay? I'm just trying to share what I use and what works. So the guys at BOP Engineering, obviously Buick, Olds, Pontiac, I think they do mostly more Pontiac than anything, but these guys are great. First of all, I'd like to say, I ordered this seal, they shipped it, somehow it got lost in the mail, and I reached out to these guys and said, look, you know, I'm behind on this project. I've got to have to keep this thing going. They said, we agree, and we're shipping one out. I think it was like second day air or something. Sent me one, just no charge, nothing. This is great customer support, and I've always had good customer support with these guys if you ever have to call them with questions. So I'm gonna get this thing removed, and we're gonna go over the directions here real quick. We wanna get this rear main seal installed so we can get this crank in. So here we go. Okay, reading directions, they've got two ways of installing this thing, with or without the crankshaft. So obviously if you're installing it in the car, you pull the pan. We're obviously building the engine, so we're gonna go by the directions for crankshaft removed. So the first thing they want us to do, as I remember doing the last one, it says place 1/2 of the seal in the block seal cavity, noting correct orientation of the seal, figure 1, right there. And then with the seal fully seated in the cavity, square up one end of the seal with the block parting line and measure the amount of the seal that is protruding on the opposite end using a caliper or feeler gauge. The amount protruding should be 20 thou plus or minus 5 thou. If it is more, remove some material from the seal end and recheck. If it is less, it may be necessary to shim the seal to get the proper protrusion. This can be done with MIG wire, shim stock, or similar. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in there now. Okay, so as everybody knows, in all your rear main seals, two-piece rear main seals, this lip, this forward lip right here, is always going to go to the front of the engine, never the back. It's going to go to the front. So we're going to get this thing installed, put that in the front, and we're going to see how much we have after I've got it. I got to get it level. All right, now I'm going to get my calipers. That's pretty level right there. I'm going to go over it though with a flat edge and make sure it's level here, and we're going to see how much we have right here. So hold on. Okay, let's measure, see how much we've got protruding. And I'd say that's about 10 thou right there. No, it's more than that. We were looking for 20, so we may need to remove some material here. Okay, yeah, I've got 90 thou sticking up on this thing. So let's see what the directions say with 90 thou, with more than I think 20 what they were saying. So obviously there's no way I was going to cut this with a razor blade as the steel core in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little belt sander here. I'm going to go a little bit at a time, and we're going to keep measuring. So let's see what happens. Oh yeah, I took 10 thou off there, so got some more grinding to do. I've got about a good 60 to remove, so maybe 55, but it's coming down. But again, steady as she goes. I don't want to cut this thing too much. I'm gonna go back out on the belt grinder and get this down. Okay, and now I have 20 thou sticking up above the block right here. This is what I did with my belt sander. I just sanded it a little bit at a time so I got where I needed to be. It says plus or minus 5, so we're well within. So if you look at the instructions now, what they want us to do is reinstall the seal halves, noting correct orientation of the seal, obviously with our forward side going to the front of the engine. Position an equal amount of protrusion on each seal. So I'll push this side back down just a little bit. Place a thin film of high temperature silicone sealer on the ends of the seal halves and between the cap and block. Offsetting the parting line is optional. So I've had great luck offsetting parting lines on rear main seals. Don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I am going to use the ultra gray RTB silicone. Yes, it's made by JB Well, but this is silicone. It's ultra gray. I've had great luck with it. So I'm going to end up putting just a little bit on each side here after I put my seal on the cap, and we'll see what happens. Guys, this is what I use when I build engines. I don't know, everybody uses something different, but this is Ultra Slick by Permatex. I like it. Yes, it's slimy, but it stays in place, and it just makes me feel good. So let me know what you think in the comments. Tell me what you use for your bearings and your rod bearings, main bearings when you build your engines. Let me know. Pretty good. Just a real quick tidbit, not all engines always have the same amount of torque on the main caps. This Oldsmobile is a good example of that. The main caps 1 through 4 are 80 foot-pounds, and the final torque on our number 5 cap is 120. So just remember that. Always refer to your manual or a reference. And I got this on one of the Oldsmobile forums, but I've had it on Summit too. So just a little tidbit. I'm going to start off with 35, and then I'm going to go to 60, and then 80, and then 120 on this one for the final. Okay, so our rings from Hastings, they came in, and I was hoping they'd be sized, but unfortunately not. So I'm gonna have to cut all the rings on this. A little labor intensive, but kind of like on a custom build. So these are really stock 350 Olds pistons. Of course, they're new. This is a 4057 diameter piston. The rule of thumb is 4 thousandths per inch of bore. So I calculated 4057 times 0.004. It gave me 16.8. So I'm gonna say anywhere from probably 17, just to be on the safe side. 17 on both top and second on these. Probably gonna be just fine. So we're gonna start cutting. All right, folks, well that's it for today on Kevin's Olds 400, 65 Olds 400 for his 65 Oldsmobile 442. We didn't go into showing everybody every little detail. We've done that on several engines, and I think it just bores people, so I'm just gonna go over the highlights. Again, it's a 65 Olds 400. These are Olds 350 pistons, standard bore. They are made by TRW. You guys have probably seen some of these before. The rods have been resized, and these pistons were put on the factory 400 rods. The crank was obviously turned and polished. Now we've got the rings are just standard Hastings rings. I have ordered a custom flat tappet 45 degree bank angle cam for early Olds 400, and that is through Mondello. And I forgot the gentleman's name, but it's not the Mondello I think that was in Kentucky, or maybe they were in, I can't remember. I think he is on the West Coast. Very nice gentleman, and he is cutting a custom cam for this engine, and it's going to be, I think, W30 or W31. You guys know those specs better than I do, but it's a cam that would have been in a 442 in 1965. So should be pretty neat. One thing I'm probably going to have to do is, instead of the standard timing chain, it just has one setting, I'm probably going to have to go to at least a 3-way adjustable timing chain, because I'm going to degree this chem. So I would say the compression ratio, the factory compression ratio, I think was 10.5 to 1. I don't know it's going to be that much. I think with these pistons, with additions, probably going to be more around 9.5, which is great for pump gas. Our cylinder heads are A heads. They've had all new valves, brand new valves all the way, intake and exhaust. They've been machined, just not to gain compression, but to just clean them up. We've got new valve springs, we've got new keepers, retainers, everything is brand new. And these things, I think, received a 5-angle valve job, I believe, if I remember correctly. If not, it was a 3-angle valve job, but Machine Shop did a really nice job on these. I'll have to go back and look, but yeah. Well, tomorrow we'll be putting the oil pump and standard oil pump and everything on. And of course, Kevin's gonna be sending me the intake and the carburetor. So yeah, anybody, you guys, my Oldsmobile friends, you guys tell me, give me your comments, what your thoughts, what you think. I think it's gonna be a pretty formidable engine. And by the way, once we get it together, all the valve covers and intake and everything's on it, it's gonna go that rocket gold that they came with, I believe, at 65. It's gonna be used by our KBS paint, motor coating. So, yeah. Guys, thanks for following along on our Oldsmobiles. We got a lot of them. We've got a much spicier 455 at the Machine Shop right now for Keith Lewis. Keith Lewis has a really nice 1970 442. So, anyway, thanks everybody in the Oldsmobile community. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. We just hit 900 subs, and we're trying to grow the channel. So, thanks again, everybody, and everybody have a great weekend. All right, now it's the next day, obviously, and just let everybody know, we've got our short block completed as far as the rotating assembly. The crank, as I said earlier, 1 through 4 is torqued. Mains are torqued at 80. Number 5 is torqued at 120. Our rods, these rods were reconditioned, factory rods. They were torqued, rod bolts torqued at 42 foot-pounds. We checked all of our Hastings rings, every single one of them. We were right at 17 thousandths in gap for all of our piston rings. So now, what we're about to do is pretty much we're going to put on our oil pump. This is a milling oil pump. Let me see a part number here. Yeah, there we go. It's an M22F. So yeah, that's what we're using. Of course, this is the milling oil pump pickup. Unfortunately, I can't install the oil pump because I don't have the bolt. So I'll be getting with Kevin, going over the list again, but I gotta have the oil pump bolt. We're gonna have to have our oil pan, obviously. And on the timing chain, we did order a timing chain set, but I don't know if this one is adjustable or not. We're gonna check and see. It may not be. Let's see. It is, okay. We do have an adjustable timing chain, all right. So before I go buying an 8-way timing chain set, we're gonna try to use, this is a nice timing chain for a stock rebuild. So we can work with that. Hey, Oldsmobile guys, this early 400, we need to put a new, pretty sure we need to put a new harmonic balancer on this thing. Can you guys tell me of any? I spoke with Bernard at Mondello, and this is going to be kind of hard to find. As Kevin said, I think he found a place to rebuild them. You guys leave some comments for me, please. Tell me what your thoughts are. I'd like to find a good factory harmonic balancer for this. Obviously, we need a distributor. We need the distributor hold down, intake manifold, intake bolts. We are going to go ahead. I have been soaking these head bolts for probably 2 or 3 months. I have a sonic cleaner, a little Amazon sonic cleaner, and I use Evapo-Rust. So these are all nice and clean now, all of our head bolts. So we're going to go ahead and get one of the heads on and get it torqued, but obviously I'm going to leave a cylinder head off because Bernard Mondello is cutting a special cam for this early 400. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've got, I think, 2 other early 400s in queue, plus another 455 in queue for a 70 442 convertible. But we're gonna get this head on, and we're probably gonna come to a stopping point because we're gonna be needing parts. So let's get this cylinder head on. Well, I stand corrected. Head gaskets did not come with this gasket set. So I've got to order a set of head gaskets for this engine. So we are literally stopped cold in our tracks. I need a lot of parts for this engine. Not to mention I need the push rods, I need all the rocker gear and everything for this once we get up top. Again, Bernard Mondello is cutting our cam. Very nice gentleman, extremely helpful. So I hope to do some business with him in the future for all our Olds customers. So yeah, you guys let me know, put in the comments, you know, what you think, all my Oldsmobile friends, about our build. I'm really excited about it. I've done a couple of these early 400s before, and I did have a cam cut by a bullet at that time, but camcorders weren't hard to find back then. But that's where we're at. So you guys, especially my Oldsmobile friends, y'all please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, Blake's Muscle Car. And we're gonna try to get some parts for this thing because we got another one coming in behind it. So we gotta get moving. So thanks everybody, and have a great Sunday.